Australia's stock market has swung wildly again today. The prospect of interest rate rises continuing to spook investors. Joining me now, our business reporter, Edward Boyd. Ed, it's a bit of a sector-by-sector approach today in terms of any bounce back.
Tom, it sure is. Look, this morning the market opened really strongly and it was up about 1.8% within the first hour of trading. Then it did an abrupt U-turn, went into the negative, then it went positive, then it went negative. Now it's back up again. Clearly, investors are still nervous about the thought of rising interest rates over the next couple of months. And there's a lot of people out there that are selling shares, but clearly there are other investors that are buying on the dip. So the average amount of shares traded today is about 70% higher than the same day last year. So there's a lot of share trading activity going on. Best performance today, there's a bit of a mix, but it's healthcare and mining stocks, particularly those iron ore mining companies. They've been doing pretty well over the last couple of months, really. You can see some of them on the screen there. Champion Iron up about 6% today. Rio Tinto is a strong performer too. It's all due to the rising price of iron ore. Remember, around the time of the federal budget last year, iron ore was about 224 US a tonne. That's in the first third of that chart there. It then started falling throughout the end of last year to 80 US dollars a tonne. But since then, in November last year, it has been rising steadily. It's up 62% since that time in November when it hit that low. Iron ore's today at 130 US a tonne, and it's probably going to continue ticking along this way over the next few months.
Yeah, so that'll be a wild ride. And part of the reason as well, if we think of supply and demand, WA, it could be part of the reason this price goes up, but that won't help Australia if we're producing a lot less of it.
There's fears that Omicron infections are going to start to shut down or reduce capacity of iron ore miners and lithium mining. There's a lithium concentrate plant in Bunbury, Western Australia, that's had to reduce its capacity due to an Omicron breakout of infections. And the fear is it's going to spread to Australia's iron ore mines as well. So Australia exports about 60% of the world's iron ore and lithium. And if there are disruptions in the supply chain from Australia for iron ore in particular, well, Brazil can sort of fill that gap for the time being. However, if the supply remains constrained, it's going to definitely push up the price of iron ore quite significantly. So Aussie prices for iron ore will get better, but they'll be producing substantially less. This here is just a graph showing Australia's share of world commodity supply, and you can see iron ore and lithium are the first two columns in that chart. So Western Australia and the Australian government are going to be a bit nervous over the next couple of weeks as the WA starts to deal with its Omicron outbreak. We'll have to see how it plays out over the next few months, Tom.
We will, and just that graph, I still find it astonishing. Lithium, such a big part of battery use, isn't it? So it shows why we'll continue to be okay as we transition to a different type of energy future. Ed, thank you. We'll keep an eye on the markets because it has been a wild ride. We're in correction territory now, but 10% down since the peak.